Hey guys, and welcome back to the Divine Well. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and joining me in this reading today, where we are going to be looking into the energy surrounding the week that you have ahead. So I do want to go ahead and go through like the roadmap of what we're going to be looking at and some of the questions that I'm going to get into before we go ahead and move forward in the reading. So we have here, I'm going to be going through for the week ahead the current energy and just do an energy check of the current circumstances that you have going on. And then, we'll get into what does the week as a whole kind of look like overall. Where do you want to focus your energy? What is there to really embrace this week? Anything to let go of? If there are things happening that are no longer serving you, what can we let go of? And then how are your spirit guides going to show up for you and support you and maybe even communicate with you this week? And then we'll end with kind of how can you best support and care for yourself as you go through the week ahead. So that's kind of our roadmap for the reading today. If anything else extra comes up that I feel like I need to say, I will definitely get into that. But overall, those are the kind of questions that are going to be guiding the reading today. So we have our 3 cards here that are going to signify the current energy of the readings that I'm going to do. So here we have the 9 of Swords, then we have Justice, and the 7 of Cups. So go ahead and take a look at those. I'll give you a minute in a second to kind of mull over them and see which one you feel like resonates with you the most. So just remember, I'm going to be getting into the current energy of the first few cards. So for each reading, if you're not feeling the first few cards, that's probably a sign that it's not the reading for you. And you can go ahead and check out another one of the readings in this video or a different reading on my channel, because one of those readings might resonate with you a little bit better. So definitely trust your intuition and your own judgment on that. What else? Also too, just remember, this is a general reading. So, if there are some things in the reading that don't resonate with you, just leave them, because they probably will not, or they might just be for somebody else and not for you. And then also too, this is a timeless reading. So even if you're not watching this video when I first posted it, you can watch this video whenever and the message can resonate at any time. So don't feel like you have to have watched this video when I first posted it, because I believe, in divine timing. So whenever you found this video, it was probably the right time for you. I'll give you a minute to go ahead and look over the cards that I have and go ahead and pick your piles, and then just check the timestamp in the description below. And you can go ahead and go to that time in the video, and I will see you in your reading. Hello, pile number 1, and welcome to your reading. You guys chose the 9 of Swords. So before I get into it, just a reminder that this is a general reading, so go ahead and take what resonates and leave what doesn't, because if it doesn't, it's probably just for somebody else. But then also, again, if you're not feeling the energy of this reading after the first couple of cards, go ahead and check out a different reading, because it's just possible, a different reading in this video or a different reading on my channel, because it's possible that this is just not the pile for you. But nonetheless, let's get into it. Pile number 1. So first things first, we're going to get into the current energy of kind of what you've got going on right now and the current circumstances of your life. So you chose the 9 of Swords, and 9 of Swords is very much a high, worrying energy, anxiety kind of energy. So maybe there's something that you have going on right now that you kind of been really worried about. There's something that's been on your mind really heavily, something that you can't stop thinking about. Some of you may be kind of worried about some of your basic needs being met. Yeah, for some of you, it's basic needs, but for some of you, it's I think you're really worried about something regarding something that you're really passionate about. So you might be worried about something related to work or like, I'm just getting very much like second guessing yourself type of energy. Like, maybe, okay, actually, some of you might be worried about something that happened like previously or in like the previous week or the last couple of days, and it's kind of just been like heavily on your mind. You're not really sure if you like handled the situation as best as you could. You're not sure if you made like the correct decision. You're not sure just like if you went about it the right way. Because whatever option that you chose, it's kind of like, it's just not sitting right with you. And some of you, it's because, some of you, it's, I get the sense that like you had an opportunity to maybe speak up for yourself, or you had an opportunity to like give your input into something, and maybe like you either gave like the wrong advice, or you like didn't say fully what you needed to say, or what you said maybe really like angered or upset the other person involved. So it's just been causing you a lot of stress, been causing you a lot of worry. You just like keep ruminating over it in your head over and over and over again. Just like, I think there's a situation that is not completely over, that you're just kind of worried about how you fit into it and your place into it. But I kind of want to get some clarifiers, because I'm not fully getting like the current energy. So I just want to get a couple of clarifiers. Oh, okay. Spirit, I'm not trusting that. Spirit, can I get a couple of clarifiers for this Nine of Swords? What is this pile kind of going through right now, and what are they worried about in their current energy circumstances? We have the Empress. Interesting. Let me get one more. Okay. I kind of feel like we're gonna keep those two. Okay, so we have Empress, High Priestess, and Ace of Wands. This is very interesting, because I feel like this is interesting. I kind of feel like you, like, I'm kind of going back to what I said about like you being worried about like how you handled something. You're worried about like, you're thinking about a situation that happened, and you're just kind of like ruminating it over and over again, like thinking like, oh, did I say everything I needed to say? Should I have said that differently? Should I have done that better? Should I, you know, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I shouldn't have, yeah, just like very much like second guessing how you went about a certain situation. And it's interesting because I'm actually getting like, I feel like you're uncomfortable with what you did, but like the move you made was the right move. So again, maybe you were like giving somebody advice or whatever input that you were giving. I feel like you're the kind of person who may like often not always say how they really feel, and you don't always like let people know how you're actually thinking and feeling. And you kind of just like mostly keep your opinions to yourself, and don't really often like just like get involved in like other people's situations or other people's like drama, or you know, you just don't want to be that person who's like just giving your input on other people's lives, or like you have opinions but you're just very worried about how they're going to be received, so you just kind of tend to avoid like speaking your mind and saying how you feel. And in this case, I think that you were kind of put in a position to where you had no choice but to say how you feel. And something just came up for me as far as like, and this could just be very specific for some of you, but maybe some of you just recently like participated in like an intervention for somebody else. So like you were literally had no choice but to like say how you really feel and say like what's really on your mind, and something as it relates to the situation. Like you had no choice but to tell this other person or other people like the truth, like how you really feel. Like it's, you know, it's been weighing on you to keep it inside, but then it's also like you're scared to kind of say like what really needs to be said, or you were scared, but you did. And so now you're just like, oh my gosh, like, did I go about it the right way? Should I have even done that? Should I have even, like, it's just very like much second guessing yourself. And so with the Empress High Priestess here, I kind of feel like what you did was in the best interest of the person involved. So like you maybe have struggled in the past to like be real with them and like let them know like, hey, like you're kind of effing up, and I'm letting you know like how you're doing that. But it's you maybe feel like wishy-washy about it now, but the reason why you did it is because this is a person that you love, and this is a person or people, you know, that you enjoy and that you care about, and so you want them to be their best selves. So you kind of had no choice but to say how you really feel as it relates to whatever it is that they're going through right now. But that's making you feel really bad because you're just not a very confrontational person to begin with. So it's just hard for you to kind of engage in confrontation, and this was something that was like really, really big, you know, really big for you to start like speaking your mind about. So, but I like with the High Priestess, I feel like you did it because like you, after sitting on it and thinking about how you needed to move forward in the situation, you realized you had no choice but to like show up authentically for this person and like be real with them, you know? So it definitely like was not an easy thing for you to decide that you had to do, but you just knew after like sitting on it, ruminating on it for a while, that like you had no choice but to, you know, like be real with this person and tell them that like maybe they're not making the best decisions and you want them to do better. And even the person, like, it could be someone else. It could also be you just kind of coming to a realization about like yourself and your own life and starting to have like a really real conversation with your own self. And the Nine of Swords could kind of be you just like going back and forth about the own personal thing that you're going through and how that kind of conflict between what you know you need to do versus like how hard it is to actually like do this thing. Maybe you like are in a position where you are the one who needs to apologize to other people, or you're the one who needs to, you know, change your behavior for the greater good. So it could be that you're that person, or it actually is another person. So just kind of keep that in mind. But the Ace of Wands here, I kind of feel like, I don't know if this is fully known to you yet, but I think what you have done has like started the catalyst for like either yourself or the other person to really begin to like think like, okay, like I know they're right. Like I know I need to change, or I know that like what they said was like truth, and like I know that what they said or what you said like has merit. And so even though like that person may not have said it to you yet or confirmed to you yet, or you haven't fully settled in on that like information, but I think that you having this conversation, or you getting these feelings out, and you like telling these truths and coming to this place of like honesty is really going to be the catalyst for real change in the situation. So like you did what you were supposed to do. You were as honest as you were supposed to be. So yeah, like don't feel bad, because I know it's like rough to kind of be in a new position and like kind of do things a little bit differently than maybe you have in the past, and like, you know, to speak up really, but it was something that was important and you had to do it. And it was like it's going to be, if not already, the catalyst for like real change in the situation, and a real change just in like motivation to kind of do something different, to change course, to change paths. But okay, let's see kind of like week as a whole. What is the energy of the week as a whole? No, not that one. That's not it. Week as a whole. Spirit, what is the energy of the week for pile number 1? Nope. The Hierophant. So that really like goes with the rest of the cards. Yeah. This week for you is really just about like uncomfortable honesty, I think. or like sitting with or becoming more honest, being just like a more real, authentic version of yourself. Because again, like you're kind of in a position now where maybe you feel bad about like what you said or like how you went about it, or like the person that you said it to was like very upset. So you just feel kind of bad about how you went about it, or you just feel unsure that you should have said anything at all. But I think what's going to happen for you this week is that energy is going to shift by the end of the week. Like you're going to realize, like, you know what, I had no other choice. I did what I was supposed to do. Even if this person is not happy about it, like I said what I had to say, you know, and it was for their benefit and it was for the greater good of everyone in the situation. And I think that you're going to be able to feel okay with that, even if the other person doesn't yet. I think that, like, sometimes, you know, you have to tell people what they need to hear, and it's not always going to be comfortable, and it's not always going to make them feel good, you know. But I mean, there was a real truth that needed to be told to somebody, and as uncomfortable as it was for them or you, it was a completely necessary thing that needed to happen in order for them to get a reality check. It's kind of how I feel. You gave that person the reality check, or you were a part of the reality check. Because again, some of you, I feel like, were just involved in like an intervention for somebody else. And so it was not just you telling truths to this person. It was like a lot of people coming together and letting them know, like, hey, like, we're not okay with how you're acting, and we want better for you because we care about who you are as an individual, you know. And again, like, that is like, while that's uncomfortable right now, by the end of the week, or, you know, maybe even a little bit after the end of the week, I feel like it's going to get to the point where you're going to be okay with what you did. You're going to realize how necessary it was, or you're going to get confirmation in some way that what you did was necessary, in like helping the other person kind of figure things out, or helping move them along. And even if, for some of you, if this person like doesn't like want to talk to you for a little bit, or they're kind of just going to like go off on their own, and just like avoid, you know, responsibility for whatever it is that you guys brought to their attention, that is not like your fault. Sometimes people just like, you know, need to take some time to really figure out what they've got going on, and like really, you know, come to terms with something that they needed to hear. And so if that person is angry or upset, like don't take responsibility for that, you know, because what you said to them was out of like love and was out of wanting them to be a better person, you know, and like that's how it should be. You know, like, people in our lives who care about us should be willing to tell us the truth. And I think that they will see that eventually if they haven't seen it already. So don't feel bad that that's what you had to do, because what you did was for the greater good. And again, like, if you're having conflict with it, obviously, and it would make sense why, because it wasn't an easy thing to say, and it wasn't an easy situation to have to be put in, and it wasn't easy to even decide that you were going to participate in that. But you will see eventually that it was the right decision to make, even if you're having a lot of high anxiety about it now. So it's completely fine. Like, I know it doesn't feel good all the way right now, but it's going to be fine. And that person or whoever's involved is going to eventually see that, okay, like, they were just looking out for me, and they were just wanting what was best for me, type of thing. So let's continue to go forward. So where should you be focusing your energy this week? I feel like we can keep that. So I'm going to keep that King of Wands or Knight of Wands, but I want to get another card too. So where to focus your energy this week? And that's funny, with that Knight of Wands, I'm kind of feeling like focusing your energy on what you know is right and what you know was the right thing to do. Because again, like, it's very, very hard to do the right thing sometimes, especially in this situation, because I do feel like you had to tell some truths to a person that you really care about, who you've been avoiding telling the truth to. But it was something that you knew you had to do. So I think that you just need to focus or not, well, not even necessarily the night, I don't really feel focused, but like just embrace the aspect of the situation that like you did what was necessary. You did what you had to do for the greater good. Like I cannot stress that enough. I've said that like 5 times now. But it wasn't the wrong decision to make. It was perfectly fine for you to get involved and to tell this person what's really going on, because I mean, they were like self-destructing. I mean, some of them were self-destructing. So it was imperative for you as someone who cares about them to tell them the truth. But what else? Oh, oops. And then we have, what is that? 8 of Cups. And this is, okay, so again, just the aspect of the situation that is most important is that you have been thinking about this for a while. This is something that like you've been wanting. You have a lot of emotional energy as it relates to what you had, the situation and what you had to tell this person. So it's very emotionally charged energy. It's funny because it's like the cups here and then it's like the knight who's like charging in. And no, if some of you are worried that like you were the one being selfish by getting involved and telling this person like what's up, no, it wasn't selfish of you to let them know that they need to do better. Like it was strictly for the benefit of them. And maybe that's what they were like trying to tell you when they like fought back. Maybe they're like, oh, like, no, you just don't like me the way I am or whatever. Or like, you just want me to change, you know, so that I can like do whatever you want, like type of thing. And like, okay, sure. I mean, but I feel like that person is just kind of in a state of being a little bit delusional because they're just not able to see where you were coming from all the way yet. And where you were coming from was a place of care and love for them and wanting better for them. But they just kind of feel like you're just like attacking their character and you're just like wanting them to change to like live just like so you can control them or something. For some, I'm sorry, I have to say this more specifically because I feel like I've been kind of like beating around the bush about it. But when I was like referring to the intervention, like some of you, it was an intervention and it was an intervention about like drug use. And like, I'm sorry, I just feel like I have to bring that up. I know that's not for everybody. That could be just very specific for some people because obviously like not everyone who's watching this that's what's going to be about. But that energy is kind of coming up pretty heavily for me because I just kind of feel like, yeah, like you're unsure about whether or not you should have intervened or the people that should have intervened. And like, you know, they're coming at you and saying like nothing's wrong with me, like you're the one who has the problem, you're just being selfish, like you just want me to, you know, get into like just do what you want me to do. But no, it's like we want you to be better, we want you to do better, we want you to make better decisions. And so I think that you like maybe that's the part of it that you grappled with is like, geez, I really like pissed this person off or made them feel like worthless or made them feel bad. And like, but no, like what you need to focus on is like the fact that this came from like care and love, and you telling them everything that they needed to hear it came from a place of care, it came from a place of love. So even if they did have a really adverse reaction, like that's not on you. About like you're not responsible for how they reacted. All you're responsible for is like what you said, and what you said was important. And it's probably going to end up, you know, what you and these other people did is going to end up being life-changing for this person. So again, that's not everybody, that's just like a very specific that I feel. But overall, I think that you just need to remember that you told this person the truth because you want them to do better. You want better for them. You want them to make better choices. And you just can't sit by anymore and just watch them like make a mess of things or make a mess of their life, you know, or make a mess of other people around them with whatever it is that they're doing. That's not okay. So I just want you to, or what Spirit, I guess it wants you to do is just focus on the fact that what you did from a place of love. You did from a place of selflessness, not selfishness, because you're not the kind of person who's comfortable with confrontation. So the selfish decision would have been to not say anything at all, you know, because that's what would have kept you comfortable. But you didn't do that. You did the uncomfortable thing, and you told this person about themselves, and you told them that they need to change and they need to make better decisions. So don't allow them to make you feel bad about your intentions or try to manipulate what the intention behind it was, because the intention was for them to be better. So yeah, just focus on the fact that you did this because you care about this person. You want better for this person. And don't let them manipulate like the feelings about it or the intention behind it, because you know the intention and you know why you did it. And it wasn't for any negative reasons or any self-serving reasons. It was for them, so that they can end up showing up better and being a better person to the people around them and for themselves. Okay, so let's see kind of like what is something to let go of. What is like no longer serving you this week? Oh. Yeah, okay, so what's no longer serving you and to let go of is to let go of things the way that they've been, you know, and to let go of a situation that is like tradition, but tradition in the sense of like kind of going with the flow of things that are happening that are like not okay, and you know that, and like letting them happen type of thing. Like it's time to get uncomfortable, it's time to shake things up, and it's time to push things out or push those behaviors and push those perspectives out that are not allowing you to live a life that is the best for you. And so what I kind of feel like as it relates to what we've been talking about so far is like you no longer allowing either yourself or this person to continue to be as comfortable as they have been with their bad behavior or with their negative pattern or with whatever it is that like was to be addressed. I think you cannot allow like things to go back to how they were before you told them what you told them, you know, because they could try to like kind of not come back into your life, because I don't think that they fully left, but like they could try to kind of just move on and like go back to normal and just kind of pretend like this never happened and just like keep it moving, keep doing what they're doing, keep behaving the way that they were behaving, like keep acting the way that they were acting, and it would kind of just be like none of this ever happened. And maybe like if they kind of avoid you, or if they go long enough without like addressing the situation, they think that maybe they can just like sweep it under the rug. But that's not something that you can allow to happen, because one of the reasons why you even brought this up with them in the first place is because it was really like messing with your energy as a person, you know, and it's making you not feel good on a daily basis and making you not feel good about how they were living their life or how whatever energy they were putting out. So it's going to be beneficial for you, because now that you said what you need to say, you can't now go back and just allow what was allowed before, if that makes sense. Because then it's just kind of like what you said doesn't even matter, and what you said did matter. And it's also going to further serve like your disempowerment as it relates to standing up for what you believe in and speaking up for what you feel is necessary to speak up about. So if this person, or even if that person is you, just tries to like go back into the same routine, like keep on doing the same thing, like they don't want to change anything, just kind of like going with the flow, and continuing to live this life like purpose or without like purpose or no like direction of changing anything, you cannot allow that to happen, because it's only going to continue to negatively affect you in the ways that it was before you had this conversation with them. So if they decide that they are not going to respect like what you guys brought to their attention and what they said, you have to put yourself in a position to no longer enable them. Because if you just stand by, you don't say anything, and you let them continue to do whatever they're doing, I mean, that's just like, in a way, giving them permission to keep on doing it. But if you really care about this person, and you really set that boundary with them and hold that boundary with them, because again, like, if you don't, it's just going to perpetuate your disempowerment for thinking that, like, what you say, or you shouldn't have said that, or you shouldn't have meddled, or what you say, like, doesn't have an impact. What you say does have an impact, but if the actions don't follow suit, then, like, it's going to lose all impact. So I just think what this is really trying to get at is, like, no longer enabling this person or yourself, if you're the person that I'm referring to when I keep saying the other person. Like, we have to set hard boundaries, have to no longer allow the same old stuff to keep happening. Like, whoever it is that I'm talking about, or this, like, energy is referring to, you need to continue to keep them in a position of being uncomfortable, because the only way that they are going to, like, be forced to, I hate to use the word forced because whatever, but the only way that you're going to be able to not enable them is to require something different of them. So if you just go back to the same old, that's giving them permission to go back to the same old. And if you really want different, you have to do something different. So really setting some hard boundaries, and saying, like, okay, this is not acceptable behavior, and this is acceptable behavior, and really letting them know. And also, it's not enough to just have the boundary, but there needs to be a consequence for that person if they're not going to respect that boundary. So whatever you decide that consequence should be, because it could be eventually you just decide that, you're not going to speak to them anymore, or you're going to completely walk away from the situation. Some of you, this is a person that you're romantically involved with who's been involved in, like, drug use and just negative behavior, period. It may not be like drugs specifically, but it could be like some type of addictive behavior. So it could be like gambling, pornography, any type of, like, addiction that they have that's kind of causing negative stress in not only their life but yours. You have to set hard boundaries with them, because if you don't, it's just going to allow the behavior to continue. And if they are not willing to live by those boundaries, then, I mean, that tells you all that you need to know about if this person should or should not be in your life anymore. You know what I'm saying? So remember, though, that it's not you. It's not your fault. You're not responsible for, like, whatever decisions this person makes. It is solely on them to, like, change their behavior. So just don't feel like you're responsible for whatever it is that they decide, because none of us are responsible for how anybody acts. Like, that's all on them, So yeah, just set your boundaries, and don't allow this person to not respect them and get away with it. Okay. And then, so how will your spirit guides support you through this situation? How will your spirit guides support you in this situation? Okay, we have 9 of Wands. I think your spirit guides are going to, like, you might get a lot of, like, energy or, like, visions of, like, the past, or like feelings about, like, how, like, I'm sorry, it might be kind of a rough week for you guys. Like, feelings about, like, how negative, like, you feel when this person is, like, not doing what they're supposed to do. So that could come in the form of, like, dreams, memories, just sitting back and reflecting and thinking about, the situation as a whole could kind of bring some of those uncomfortable feelings up and things. And it may kind of feel like that's making you feel bad, but really what this is like your spirit guide's way of telling you that, like, this is not okay. The feelings that you have about this, like, it's affecting you in this way. So what does that tell you? It tells you that this is not behavior that you need in your life. And this is not this is not energy that you need to continue to sit with, you know? Like, it's not energy that you need to continue to enable, because it's causing you a lot of like pain, like stress, like negative energy, anxiety, sleepless nights. You're always worried about this person all the time because they're not making good decisions, you know? So I really just feel like if you're kind of feeling really heavy energy on the like remembering, like focusing on all the negative aspects of this person's behavior and how it affects you, yes, it's gonna like not feel good, but it's just kind of your spirit guide's way of helping you see just how devastating it is to consistently be in this energy with this person and to consistently like deal with the things that they bring to you. So don't get too like caught up in like, I don't want to say don't get too caught up in feeling bad, because like it's going to be uncomfortable and you're going to feel bad and there's going to be some uncomfortable feelings like as it relates to the situation. But again, like coming back to this Hierophant energy, it's just a reminder for you to know that like you had to do something about it. You made the right choice by speaking about it, because it was literally like taking over your life, how you're having to deal with the stress of the situation. And it's getting to the, I'm surprised we haven't even seen the Tower card here, because I kind of feel like Tower energy overall. It's like either like something was going to be done to change things, or something out of your control is going to happen to change things, type of thing. And I think you decided to get ahead of it and try to make a difference for this person, so that it, it can obviously have they can have a better life and they can have better impact on the people around them, including you. Because how this person is behaving now is not who you know them to be. And like you also might get flooded with memories or about the good things too, because that's a reminder of like, the good parts of them and why you did this and why it was important for you to tell them about themselves, so that they can have a catalyst for behavior change and for you to really be honest with them. So I think you're going to be somewhat still in your head a little bit this week, just thinking about the whole situation, the good and the bad. But again, that's your spirit guide sending you those feelings and emotions to kind of help you come to terms with the fact that this was the right decision to make. So every single time you're thinking about this, you have to think about why, how does that relate to what this person needs to change, and like why is that a reason that this was the right decision that I made? So your spirit guides aren't trying to, make you feel bad and continue to keep you in a place of like negativity at all. It's not about that. It's just about them trying to reinforce with you and let you know and support you and knowing for sure that you did the right thing. You did what you were supposed to do. This person, they may not see it yet. And like, because of that, you may not see it yet, but you definitely made the right choice and you did what you were supposed to do, and your spirit guides want to support you in knowing that. So just remember that when you're having kind of these like complex emotions about this through this week, because by the end of the week, you will know that what you made the right choice, just like we talked about earlier. So, okay. And so then how can you best like care and support yourself this week? How can pile number 1 best support themselves as they move through the rest of this week, Spirit? Two of Swords. So again, we're talking about like, conflict. Not necessarily conflict, but like thought processes going against each other. It's funny because I'm kind of getting like, I just heard the phrase like lay your swords down type of thing. So I think while you're going to be having this like inner conflict and going back and forth with yourself about, did I do the right thing? Did I not do the right thing? Like, should I have done things differently? Should I have, I think over like what you need to do is just relax that. Just like, I don't want to say like, don't think about it, because obviously you are going to think about it, but just like, don't get too caught up in like, like thinking about it too much, because, or like, don't beat yourself up about it. Okay. That's how I kind of feel. It's like, try to avoid beating yourself up, because like have grace with yourself and have patience with yourself, and just like remind yourself that you did the right thing. Like, even if it doesn't feel like it, you did the right thing. You did what you did to best support, you know, this person that you care about. So just give yourself some grace, give yourself some empathy. Like, you know, remember to tell yourself that you did the right thing, because it's going to feel like you didn't for a little bit, but you did. And you just have to keep on coming back to that. Just keep on coming back to the, I did the right thing. I did the best that I could. I did what I did with very pure intentions. The intention behind what you did is very pure. So even if you're not there yet in the situation, like, your intentions were pure. So just really, like, be kind to yourself as you move through this week, because it's not always going to feel good, but eventually you will have more security in how you feel about how all of this went down. So just don't be too hard on yourself, and just be nice to yourself. That's how I just feel. It's like, just be nice, because you're already going through enough. You don't need to be putting more negative energy on your own shoulders. So just be nice, be kind to yourself, and eventually, like, you will come to the conclusion that you did the right thing and you did the necessary thing. So, but thank you so much, pile number 1, for joining me in this reading. I really hope that this resonated with you. If it did, please like this video or leave me a comment, or even subscribe to the channel if you want to continue to be here to catch future readings. It really is helpful for me when you guys like, comment, or subscribe to the channel, and it allows me to keep on making videos. So please, 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 if you are willing, you know, just give me a like, comment, or subscribe. But thank you again, guys, for joining me in this reading, and I will see you in the next one. Hello, pile number 2, and welcome to your reading. You guys chose the Justice card, and so, but before we get into it, just want to remind you that this is a general reading, so just go ahead and remember to take what resonates and leave what doesn't. It's possible that what doesn't resonate is just meant for another person. But again, if you're not feeling the energy of this reading after the first couple of cards, then that's perfectly fine. It's probably a sign that this is not the reading for you. So just go ahead and check out one of the readings at a different timestamp and see if you resonate better with that energy, or maybe the reading in a different video that I have on my channel may resonate better with you. But so, yep, let's get into it. First, I want to shuffle the deck just to make sure we clear the energy from the past reading or any readings of the future. We want to stay locked into the present. Okay, so we have the Justice card here. So something that's, you know, going on for you right now, it could have to do with, like, somehow balancing the scales, kind of maybe like you're someone or you are in a position where, like, you're kind of getting, I hate to say, like, it, this sounds negative, but I don't mean it negatively, like, kind of getting what's coming to you type of thing. So something in your life or something about what's going on for you right now is, like, kind of coming back into balance, after maybe having been out of balance for a little bit. But let's get a little bit more. I kind of want to see, like, get a clarifier for this Justice card. So what is going on with this Justice card, Spirit? What can I get a clarifier for this energy? Oop. So we have the 5 of Wands. Interesting. Let me get another one just to be sure. Oh, Star, okay. So this is interesting because I kind of feel like currently what's going on for you is, like, I don't want to say, like, deception, but I think that you could be involved in a situation with a bunch of other people, and it's kind of like who's gonna get it type of thing. So maybe you are, like, in line for, like, a certain position, or you are trying to like get a certain job, or you're trying to get something, or trying to end up in a specific position. So that could be like a promotion, like at work. It could be like booking some type of job or booking some type of client. But there's other people involved. And like these other people are kind of like competing with you for whatever this like thing is that you're trying to get. And I do get the sense that it's like some type of like position, some type of job, some type of like contract. And I think it's possible that like, I don't think it's been like friendly competition. Like I think that the players involved like are engaged in some real like manipulation, or some real like, I don't know, like not fighting fair type of thing. Like all I'm focusing when I see this card here is like all the people, and this guy's like, he's swinging the wand, like he's like about to hit this guy, this person's about to hit that person. Like I just get this sense that the people who are all like gunning for this position or gunning for this spot are just, they're not fighting fair, they are not playing fair. There is a lot, it's kind of like may the best man win, like type of thing. Very cutthroat, very, so oh my gosh, I just get the sense that whatever it is that you're working towards or going towards, it's a very cutthroat situation. Like whoever is involved, like everybody wants this position. Everybody is willing to do like whatever it takes to get it. That's interesting. Okay. Okay. So yeah, if you're feeling like you resonate with that type of energy, like that's amazing. If not, maybe check out a different video. But I definitely feel like whatever it is, it's like a bunch of people who are trying to get a spot on something. So it could be like, again, a job, a project, a client. It could be like trying to make a certain team. Maybe you're trying out for some type of team. It could be sports. It could be like academics. Could be just like any type of team. But I get the sense that there's like a lack of justice, in the sense of people aren't fighting fair. People are willing to do whatever it takes. Anything goes. They're trying to get this position out of, basically by any means necessary. So I said earlier about bringing things back into balance. I think that it's actually kind of a lack of balance, and there's like a lack of boundaries, a lack of like this, like what is and is not acceptable, like does not even matter, like on a moral compass type of level. Everybody wants whatever the position is. They want this thing, whatever the prize is in the situation, and everyone is willing to fight dirty to get it. So that's interesting, but let's dig deeper. So what is the energy of pile 2's week as a whole, Spirit? What is happening overall for pile 2 this week? Okay, we have the 8 of Swords. This is interesting because I kind of feel like, oh, one second, I'm gonna take a drink. But I kind of feel like we're looking at you potentially like, I think that you're gonna be getting in on this, like maybe not fighting fair, doing whatever it takes to kind of get to this position or get this like thing. But I think you're gonna be faced with some real like inner conflict about it. Because I kind of just get like, I don't think that you're the kind of person who is normally like by any means necessary to get like what you want type of thing. I think that you're just unfortunately in a position where that's what everyone else is doing. So you kind of feel like you have no choice but to also like behave that way, because you also want this thing. And it's like, how can you compete if you're not willing to play as dirty as these other people? But I do feel like it is a real conflict for you. It really is. So overall, for the energy of the week, I just think that you're going to be battling like some real inner conflict about like how you would normally behave in a regular like moral type of situation, but then also kind of you have to, I'm not saying you have to, because you don't have to, but the reality of you like, stepping out of the norm of what you would potentially do, what you would allow, like in order to achieve this. And like I said, like very much inner conflict, like there is not an alignment between like your true self and how you would usually try to go about a situation and get like a position versus either what you are currently doing or what you think that you would be willing to do to end up getting the position that you want. So it's like really causing you to have to step out of your usual like moral compass and really kind of, I think, taking you away from how you would typically behave in this situation. So definitely feeling like it's gonna be you, like overall for the energy of the week, it's just like very much the conflict of self and trying to figure out like how to navigate that, and just like navigating this inner conflict that you've got going on. Okay, but what should pile 2 be focusing on, Spirit, or what should they embrace as they go through this week? Oh, that was too many cards, so I want to do that again. But what should they be focusing on as it relates to this week, Spirit? Okay, we have the 9 of Cups. I want to pull one more. I'm getting like the sense to pull one more. Ooh, okay. So I kind of really am feeling this like 9 of Cups energy as like, I think that you should really consider who you are as you go down this path that you're kind of going down. Because I think what you need to consider is, and what you need to focus on is like, is this really how you want to go about it? Are you really willing to compromise yourself and like your normal ways of being in order to get this thing or to secure this position? Because with the Tower, again, whenever I see the Tower, I always like this, a sense of control comes up to me. And I feel like this is kind of like, I think you really need to be focused on like what you can control. And because I don't think that's what you're focused on, because you're trying to like compete with these other people who are willing to do whatever it takes to make this thing happen. But you're facing this and feeling this inner conflict as it relates to this situation. And so it's like, you can't control whether or not you're going to get this position. Like, you could do all of these things that are like outside of your moral compass and outside of like your regular like belief system and what you would like really actually allow. But if you don't end up getting this thing, then like, was it worth it to like go against yourself, go against your belief system? And like, I don't know, I think that's what you need to consider is like, if you were to do all these like things that are outside of what you would normally do in order to get this, but then you didn't end up getting it, would you still feel good about how you went about it? You know, I just think that, I don't know if you would. So I think that's the question that you need to ask yourself when you're engaging in this, because it's like, I think you're just kind of getting pulled further and further from who you actually are, and you don't want to lose touch with that person. I think you need to embrace like, don't ignore how this like inner conflict is actually making you feel, because the only person that you have control over is yourself. And for you to step out of character in order to achieve this thing, whatever this thing is, or get this thing or get this person, some of you may be like trying to compete for like a person, which is like interesting. I'm not really sure what that's about, but I just feel like again, like the only person that you have control over and as it relates to the situation is yourself. You only have control over yourself, your behaviors, your actions. And are you willing to really compromise who you are just to get this, and ask yourself, is this thing like really worth it? What is the real benefit that it's going to bring you? You know, like, I just think you need to focus on what parts of yourself are you going to sacrifice and like give up control to, and give up, what's the word I'm looking for? Give up your agency, just to get this. Like, I don't know. I just don't think that, and maybe you can get the position or get this thing by going according to your own moral compass, even if other people aren't willing to. Like, is that the only path to here? Like, is this the only path to getting here? Are you only able to get this thing if you play dirty and like don't fight fair and, you know, like join in the energy of what these other people are like contributing? Because I don't know if that's true. And I think you might feel much worse about yourself if you choose to not act according to your own moral compass that you have right now and step outside of like who you are as a person. You know, I just think it's very possible you could end up losing like a lot of bits of yourself along the way. And like, for what is what I feel like I need to ask you. Like, is that really what you want to do? I don't know. So like, that's definitely something for you to decide. But I think like what Spirit is asking you to focus on is like, how much is this taking you away from being in alignment with your true self? And like, is that really what you want? Because you're going to get to a point of like no return, or maybe not fully no return, but like, you could end up doing some real damage to your real personal self along the way, instead of like, sorry, I just saw something that I needed to get. You could end up doing some real damage to your personal self and your own sense of self, because you're in pursuit of whatever that thing is. And you could just end up like really losing yourself in all of this. And I just don't know if that's worth it for you. So just think about that. And because it's possible, that, I don't know, it's possible maybe that you can go about this in a much like more, a way that has like a little bit more of your personal morality in it. Don't give up control to these other people, because that's kind of what's happening. I feel like is like other people, you're going according to the competition, and it's like you just need to kind of focus on your own self and what you would want and how you would actually go about this situation. Like, if everybody else was playing fair and playing by the rules, like, would you do that too? If the answer is yes, then maybe that's what you need to be doing, because that's the choice you would make all along. Just you're feeling kind of pressured to step out of character because these other people are maybe not playing fair and not playing by the rules. So just think about that. Think about the real, like drivers of your actions, the real drivers of your thoughts. How is that like intersecting with like how you feel inside, and if it's not making you feel good, then, that's something to be mindful of, and maybe have to make an adjustment. But let's keep going. So, what is there to let go of, Spirit? What does pile 2 need to let go of in this kind of situation that they're in? Judgment. So yeah, stop paying attention to other people. I think you need to let go of the pressure that you're kind of putting on yourself to get this thing, because whatever it is making you step out of character. Because again, you're not making decisions from your personal heart, your personal self. You're making decisions out of fear of competition with other people. But guess what? Like, you're not in competition with anyone. There's no competition here. What's meant for you will come to you, and what's meant for other people will come to them. And the universe is always going to put you in alignment with the best situation. And and I'm not saying that means it's always a good situation, because even like, we're not always meant to only go through good things, because like the bad things or the other things that happen that we don't always consider good are oftentimes the catalyst for the most growth. So I just think that you're a little bit too caught up in what other people are thinking, what other people are doing. you know, how are they going about things? I think what you really need to do is focus on yourself. And I don't think that you're focused on yourself. I think that you're kind of in like a scarcity mindset versus like an abundance mindset. Like you want this thing so bad, and you're like, you know, trying to fight all these other people in order to get it. But like what's meant for you will come to you. So if this doesn't come to fruition, then it's probably just because it wasn't in your best interest and wasn't in alignment with your highest good. And it's very possible that it's actually not, because it's causing you to get so, you know, like, or step away from your character or have all this inner conflict, you know, and not really, you know, think too much about like, or you're not considering too much about your own moral compass and how betraying that might be having a more significant negative impact on you than you're kind of willing to realize right now at this point, you know? So I just think that the thing that you need to let go of is like paying attention to other people, being like concerned about what other people have got going on. I just think the attention needs to be brought back to you and yourself, not all of these other people. Because you following them is taking you away from who you are. And that's what's causing all this inner conflict. You need to get back into alignment, because I feel like as it relates to this situation, you're not in alignment right now. So you need to get back to the basics, get back to your core values, you know, and like, are you moving according to your values? I personally don't think so, but that's something maybe to reflect on. It doesn't serve you to pay to I guess like base how you're going to move on the actions of other people. You're an individual and you can do things according to you, not according to what these other people have going on. So just think about that. Yeah, don't allow these other people to like force you to move a certain way, because you, like, again, you are an individual. You don't need to worry about what other people are doing. What is meant to you will find you. You will be put in like whatever situation you are meant to be in. So don't allow other people to get you out of character, because that's what's happening right now, and that's just, it's not good for you. Okay, so how can your spirit guides support you this week? How will they support you? Let's see. How will your spirit guides support you this week? I've had real butterfingers today. How will your spirit guides support you? They're going to help to remind you about what's important. So you may get like some type of sign, some type of like actual like spiritual communication from them. So this could be like, maybe you sit back, you meditate, you reflect, and it will kind of just come to you. Or you'll actually get like a real world sign somehow, some way, like from the universe. Like maybe like you'll be watching TV and you'll kind of hear a quote that like really resonates with you. Or like you're driving down the street and you see a billboard and it says something that really resonates with you. You know, so it could be something that you actually see in the real world as well. But I feel like this is going to be like direct communication from them is what's going to happen. So it's going to be something like that. Like you'll either like hear it in your head and it will like come to you and you'll know, or you're going to see it, or you're going to like maybe hear it from a song or something like that. But there's going to be some kind of like communication that is coming straight to you from them, and they're going to help you. And once you hear it or see it, you're going to know, okay, that's the sign, type of thing. So just be on the lookout for that, because your spirit guides, they're going to help you make the right decision. They're going to help you figure out exactly how to kind of bring yourself back into it, rely on yourself. And as it relates to this, so yeah, like just be on the lookout for a sign that's coming your way, because I do feel like the communication that's coming is going to be like direct. And it's going to feel like they like have literally spoken to you directly. So you may be like a pretty like spiritual, like intuitive person already. So maybe you often kind of get signs from your spirit guides and your spirit team, and maybe you communicate with them a lot. Some of you, maybe you haven't, but you have always kind of felt like the right message will come like at the right time or something. So really just like relying on your own intuition and relying on your own ability to receive messages and communicate with spirit, because like I said, it's going to be something that you see, you're going to hear. It'll be literally like a direct like line or quote or like phrase that you're going to read, and that's how you're going to know that that this is communication for them. It could also come from actually somebody else in your life. So maybe you ask someone for advice and maybe like they're super intuitive, so spirit will be working through them to give you like the correct advice about how to go through this situation. So just be very mindful this week about the advice that you hear or the quotes that you read, the music that you listen to, anything that really, really resonates and it feels like, oh my God, this is like speaking to me. This is exactly what I needed to hear. Like that is going to be how you know that that's a spirit guide message and it's a message from your spirit team. So just be very mindful of that and pay attention to that this week, because they are really going to be on it about letting you know that they're there and letting you know you'll know. Like don't think that you have to look for this message, because it will come to you when the time is right. So just be aware of that, because they're going to be talking directly to you through some type of medium in the 3D. So just be on the lookout, because and just pay attention to what's happening, because they will be coming to you directly. Okay, so then how can pile 3 best support and care for themselves as they kind of move through this? I'm not sure about that, so let's keep going. Okay, how can pile, okay, we have 3 whole cards. Page of Swords, what is that, 8 of Pentacles, and Death. Okay, so how can you best, okay, so again, like getting back to your personal belief system, your personal like use of logic, your like values, coming back to that person without the person who's all about like, this is me, what I believe, and like whatever anybody else believes doesn't matter, you know, like really getting back in touch with yourself, getting back in touch with what you think is right from wrong, your own moral compass, you know, not relying on what other people think and feel and what they're going to do to move you along, you know, really like you have the inner strength as a person to guide yourself through the situation and still stay in touch with who you are. So just get back in touch and don't allow these other people to influence you and get you to step out of character, because it's not what you need to be focused on. And you're the kind of person who like, you know, like what is right, what is wrong, like what is the best way to go about it. Like get back in touch with who that person, because that person knows, you know, and like it's time to reground, time to like just get back into alignment, reground yourself, getting back to the basics, thinking, okay, you know, like what is it? How does the situation really make me feel? How do I really want to go about this? You know, like all of that. So just allowing yourself to like just live in accordance with who you are and not what you think you need to be or do to make this situation come to fruition. Just kind of allowing what's going to happen. And with the Death here, I feel like I'm kind of referring to, again, back to that, like not letting other people run the situation, like letting go or shedding the expectations that you can only achieve this thing if you know, like be manipulative, play dirty, and like, you know, fight to the death, or I don't know why I said fight to the death, but fight to these other people to the death for kind of like what you want to have come to fruition. Like it's not about that. It's about you living in accordance with your own value system and using that to move you forward, not using like the actions and influences of other people. It's time to get back in touch with yourself and move according to how you want to move as an individual. So just kind of take that as it resonates. But thank you so much, Pile 2, for joining me in this reading. I hope you guys have a really great week ahead. If you like this video or it did resonate, please let me know by liking the video or giving me a comment, maybe even subscribing to the channel. All of those things will really help me be able to continue to make videos and to continue to be able to speak to you guys through spirit. So, but thank you guys again so much for joining me in this reading, and I will see you in the next one. Hello, pile number 3, and welcome to your reading. So yeah, we're going to get into the energy of the week that you have ahead and kind of the current energy that you're dealing with right now. So again, if you're not feeling like you're resonating with this reading after the first couple of cards, go ahead and check out one of the other piles or another reading on my channel, and maybe you will resonate with that reading a little bit better. So let's get into it. We have the 7 of Cups here. And it's funny because when I first pulled this card at the beginning, I don't know why, but that, like, if you guys have ever seen Twilight, and I'm thinking of like New Moon specifically, there's that part, no, not New Moon, Eclipse. And there's that part where like Jane and the Volturi are like looking at the newborns, and Jane's like, you know, we let them do what they were created for, or we end them. Like, decisions. And so that like decisions thing was like really jumping out to me. And the 7 of Cups is usually about like trying to make some type of decision or reflecting on all the different options that you have available to you. So as we're kind of talking about the current energy of your situation right now, I think that you might be kind of thinking like having a decision to make this week, or you're kind of mulling over all the options that you have available to you, and eventually you'll have to make a decision. But I definitely feel like it has to do with you looking at all the paths to go, or all the things that you have available to you, and then you have to like pick one. But I'm gonna get a clarifier or two and kind of see if I can get a little bit more from spirit about like what is actually kind of going on. The clarifier for the 7 of Cups, spirit, please. The Hierophant. We have the King of Cups. Okay. So I definitely do feel like this is kind of a tough decision, and a decision that like is charged with a lot of emotional energy. For some of you, this may have to do with like a relationship, and maybe thinking about whether or not you want to end a relationship. That's how I kind of feel. You might even kind of feel like you have to decide between like 2 or multiple different people, because there might be like multiple people who are kind of like trying to gain your affection or are interested in you, and like maybe you've been kind of like, I don't necessarily get the sense that this is like a cheating energy. It's more so like, oh, I've been kind of dating around and I'm hanging out with this person and that person, but like I'm gonna kind of have to figure out what I want before like this goes too far and I'm leading people on a little bit. So, or before it starts to get to the point that you're kind of leading people on. So yeah, that's how I kind of feel about the current energy of the situation. I just think you have like some decisions to make and some things to consider as it relates to like your love life. And I definitely feel like this is a person who is like dating around, dating multiple people. But like I think you do want to be in like a actual like relationship. But it's kind of like you're not really sure all the way like well, I don't know if you're not really sure. I think you probably have someone that you favor out of like the multiple people that you might be seeing right now. But you're also the kind of person who doesn't like to hurt people's feelings, and you don't like to like let people down. So I think it's kind of hard to maybe be like, oh, like I actually don't want to date you anymore because like I'm actually interested in this person and I want to be with this person. But that could just be for some of you. Some of you might just genuinely just like not know what you want out of life, out of love right now. And so you're just kind of feeling just very up in the air about like how you want to move forward. Maybe there are people who want you to like commit to them, but you're just not really sure. So you might have still like some kind of things that you want to figure out before you do. For some of you, it could just be one person who you've been dating, and that person is kind of like, I mean, when are you gonna like ask me to be like official? You know, I really want to be with you. Like, why are you having such a hard time like wanting to be with me? You know, and I think like you could be the kind of person who's a little bit like of an overthinker. And maybe you just like to consider like all the aspects of the situation before you make a decision, but then it's like you get very caught up in those different aspects. So it's like, oh, well, like, you know, I really have to consider this, but wait, but this is important too, and this doesn't, and you just kind of get overwhelmed in your head about all the things that are kind of going on for you emotionally. So that's how I feel. If that's not how you kind of feel about this circumstance of like life right now, this probably is not the pile for you, but I definitely feel like it's just confusion around romance, confusion around like dating life, confusion around if you really want to be with someone. So yeah, if you're not feeling confused about your love life, this is probably not the pile for you, but if you are, like, let's continue. So let's look at the week as a whole overall. What is the energy spirit of the week as a whole for pile number 3? Ooh. The moon, interesting. Interesting. Okay. So I'm definitely feeling like you're going to like, it's possible that you could be getting some new information that is going to like continue to influence your decision making as it relates to what you want to do like romantically. For some of you, somebody that you're dating and with, like, you may not be the only person that they're talking to, so just keep that in mind. There may be some aspects of the situation that you're not considering all of the way. So overall, I just feel like this week is kind of about like what's done in the dark is coming to the light type of thing. And I mean, for some of you, maybe if you are like cheating on your boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever, I mean, it's possible that could be revealed, but I don't really feel strongly about that. So that might just only be for like a person or two. But I feel like whatever it is that you're having trouble deciding on, or whatever like it is about your love life that you're having trouble with, I think information is going to come in this week that is going to help you come to a place of more clarity about this situation. So if you are kind of like considering like dating multiple people, and you're not really sure like what you want to do and how you want to go about it, I think this week you are going to figure that out, and you are going to come to a place of like understanding like what it is exactly that you want. So, but that it's going to be because like new information is coming up, and new information is like popping in to help you. But it's also possible that like it's also possible that you are just maybe going to have to struggle a little bit this week with like not knowing for sure like what it is that you want. It's just very much in the dark type of energy. Stop it, dog. Get down. Hey. So yeah, it's just the energy, just things being illuminated, new information coming in, something something's going to happen that's going to help you further along in your ability or this problem that you're having about maybe kind of having to decide what you want to do and like how you want to move forward. But let's see, what are some of the things to focus on this week? What are the aspects? Oh, two of them. We have Page of Pentacles and the Emperor. So I think what you have to kind of consider as it relates to the situation is like, what are your actual needs, and like, what decision would you make that is going to be like, that's going to best serve fulfilling those needs, you know? Like, again, if this is a person who is kind of juggling multiple people at once, but you're not like in a committed relationship yet, I kind of feel like in order to help you make this decision, what you need to really focus on is, okay, like, what are the things that I want, and who is the person that best like fulfills that, you know? Because I think the conflict here for you might be that there are certain things that you like about certain people, and it's kind of like different people like give you a different, like fill up a different like need for you, but you're only seeing them as it relates to that one need. So maybe like, for example, if you like, one of the people that you're with is really funny and like you enjoy that, so like you want to keep talking to them because like you really enjoy their humor. You know, another person might be like very attractive and you like, you know, the way that they look, so you want to keep them around because you like looking at them. One person might be like, you know, like a good kisser or something, and so you really like that and you want to, you know, keep them in your life because, you know, you enjoy kissing them or whatever, just anything along those lines. And I think that you might not be understanding yet at this point, like if you can get all of those things out of just one person. So that's why you kind of have been entertaining these multiple people. But I think like it's kind of probably becoming like a little bit too much for you to have to keep up with all these like different energies, try to keep entertaining all these different people. And like, again, I think you do want like a solid relationship. So I think you kind of have to step out of like this kind of selfish energy, I want to say a little bit, just a little bit selfish, because if you're stringing people along just because there are certain aspects about them that you like, and like you don't want to let them go, that is for only your benefit, not theirs. So I don't know if you're really being fair to the people involved by not like releasing them of the connection if you're kind of just stringing them along, because some of the people like you are stringing along. And so I think it would be best for you to really figure out like what are your real needs, and like who out of the options that you have can like meet them the most. And if nobody can, then that like tells you something too. Maybe you're actually not really interested in these people as much as you think you are, or maybe there are other doors that will open for you when you are finally able to close like the ones that you have open now, you know? Because I just get the feeling that I just don't think that you know for sure what you actually want, or you're just not being fair to the other people involved by continuing to string them along. So I think you just need to focus on yourself and focus on, okay, what are my needs? What do I want? And what do I need to do in order to move towards that? You know, because the energy here is just pretty, like, I'm seeing the Emperor, but I kind of feel like it's in the sense of like, I don't think you're intentionally taking advantage of other people, but you are taking advantage of them by only utilizing them for like what you want and not like what they also need, you know, and not considering their feelings, not considering like how you're impacting their life. You're only really thinking about how they're impacting you. And I just don't know if that's the best energy to be in. So I think that what you need to focus on really is like, what do you actually want? What options do you have available to you to fulfill it? And if you don't have any available to you, then like maybe it's time to stop stringing people along and kind of just move forward in the connection and the situation, or move forward
by releasing these people from like your wishy-washiness, because I do get a sense that you're a little wishy-washy. And there are people who want to be with you, and they are not being with other people or finding who really wants to be with them because you're kind of stringing them along. So don't do that. Or like, you know, start making moves that are actually in alignment with what you actually want, instead of just kind of going through the motions, is what I feel. Like, take charge, turn into the emperor energy that's actually like going after what they want and not having to string people along in the process, or like make people think that this is something that it's not, because a couple of your love interests might think that they're on the path to being like official with you, when that's actually not how you're feeling at all. So you really need to get like some clarity as it relates to what you've got going on right now. And if you're after you think about it, if you realize that, oh, I don't actually want to be with this person, I'm kind of just keeping them around to fulfill a selfish need, then that's something that you should probably look into and maybe make a decision to make some changes on. But let's see. Okay, so what is their spirit for pile 3 to let go of? What about their situation this week is no longer serving them? What do they need to let go of? Too many cards. Two of Cups. That's funny. Okay, so yeah, you need to let go of, again, like the people or person that you're with that you don't actually like, you know, whoever it is that you're stringing along, like, because again, I feel like you're kind of being like a selfish like lover right now, because you have your hands in a couple of different pots. And while that's not necessarily bad for you, it's just not fair to the people involved, because they actually think that you're serious about them or on the road to being serious about them. And even if you have like told them in the past, like, oh, like, hey, like, you know, I'm not trying to be serious, this is just like whatever, I feel like you might be engaging in some actions with them where it's like your actions and words don't necessarily like mean the same thing. So you might be telling them like, oh, like, I don't really want a serious commitment with you right now, or maybe you said that to begin with, but then like maybe you've like done things that like a person who you're just having a fling with like wouldn't do. Like, you're taking people out on dates, maybe you're paying for their food, and you're like kissing them on the forehead type of thing. Like, do not kiss anybody on the forehead that you are not trying to be like in a relationship with. That's just like, that's not okay. That is very much like significant other type of moves right there. So don't be doing that. But yeah, like, I just think, but it's also, again, like, while it's not in their best interest to kind of be in this energy with you, it's also not in your best interest either, because honestly, it's just you having all these like flings, or, you know, being involved with these people that you don't actually want to be with at the end of the day is only preventing you from actually finding your person too. And that is something that I feel like you want. You do want to find the person who's the total package, you know, the person who like has all of the aspects that you're looking for, you know, so that you don't have to try to find little things about this person and that one that you like. You want it all wrapped up in one, you know, type, you know, big red bow. And I get that, I do, but it's like, how are you going to find that if you're spreading out your energy so much with all these other people, you know? Like, you're not even going to give that person the real time of day when they do actually show up, or if they're in your life right now and you just haven't been paying attention, you know, because you're just thinking too much about, well, not thinking too much, but you're just too involved with all your hands in all these different other areas that when that person's in your face, you're not going to be able to recognize it because your energy is too scattered. It needs to be more focused. So I think what you need to let go of is any notion of these people who it's just not working out, you know, like the people who you're just kind of stringing along, like if you're involved with anybody right now that you know for a fact that you don't want to be with, but you know that they want to be with you, you got to cut that off, because again, it's going to prevent you from being able to find the person that you actually want to be with, and it just prevents them from being able to do the same. And it's also just going to keep you in a position where you have to continue to deny them, you know? And it's like, yeah, you can be mad at them for not taking the hint, but you also have to kind of look at yourself and be like, oh, I am actually engaging in behavior that can be you know, reasonably stated to like be stringing them along, you know? And you got to be honest with yourself about that, because you can't just say like, yeah, I told this person I didn't want to be with them. I don't know why they're still like trying to catch feelings for me, because you're still entertaining that behavior somehow, you know? So it's not really like their fault, because all they're doing is like, you know, liking you and maybe wanting to grow closer with you. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, but if that's not what you want, then you have to be willing to release them from that. You know, you got to, like, because it's just not fair to them. It's not fair to them for you to like I said, string them along, like, and that's what you're doing, even if you don't realize that's what you're doing. So, but anyways, okay. So how will your spirit guides kind of support you in this situation this week? How will they support you? Queen of Swords. So your spirit guides are going to help you figure it out. But I think what you need to do is kind of, again, like, take some time to yourself. You need to sit back, you need to reflect, and then like they will help you come to the conclusions that you need to come to, and help you get in touch with what you're really thinking about all the things that you have going on, and all like the pros, cons, the whatevers as it relates to the decisions that you have to make. You know, they want to support you in becoming more self-aware and like getting some more perspective on the situation as a whole. So if you're feeling so unclear and you're feeling so unsure about all the things that are happening for you right now and all the different paths that you have available to you right now, they want to help you get clarity on that. But in order to do that, you got to like take a step back and get some perspective. And they will support you through coming to the correct conclusion. You know, or I mean, maybe not correct conclusion, but like coming to a place of a higher self-awareness, so that you can have more clarity on what it is that you actually want out of life and out of love, you know, because right now you're just kind of, I mean, not like going through the motions, but like you're just kind of all over the place, and they're going to help kind of bring you back to center and bring you back to a position of clarity, and help you understand what's going on to a higher quality, if that makes sense. Because again, I feel like you're not very clear right now, but what you need is to get clear, and your spirit guides are going to help you do that. But you have to take a step back, maybe spend some time alone. Maybe like if you have like some dates lined up, maybe cancel them and just kind of spend some time with yourself, so you can get back to understanding what it is that you actually want, and how does that or does that not align with what you have going on right now in your life and in your world. So just keep that in mind. But your spirit guides are here to help you. They're going to help you get that perspective, and they're going to help you, you know, figure out what it is that you want. So I just think you need to like kind of make everything a little bit more quieter. And so again, like if you have some dates scheduled over the next few days or this week, like it might be in your best interest to cancel them and just kind of tell the people like, hey, like I just gotta, you know, figure some things out. And once you spend a little bit of time alone, I think that you'll be able to kind of figure out what it is that you want. But I think like when you're hanging out with all these people, you're just constantly getting like distracted by them, and it's not helping you focus on yourself and like what you actually need and what you actually have, you know, going on, and what your wants and your thoughts are and stuff. So I think you just need to spend some time with yourself, kind of allow yourself to get some perspective on the situation, reground, come back and getting into alignment with what it is that you actually want, what you actually need. And then that will kind of help you as you're kind of figuring out what you want to do moving forward, I think. Okay, so then how can you kind of best support yourself as you move through this situation? How can you best support yourself? Ooh, Two of Pentacles. So, again, I feel like I think it might be best for you to kind of, not, like, I think you need to focus on, like, again, like, not the ideas of people, but, like, the reality of what's in front of you. So, like, really getting clear about, like, what is happening in front of me. What are the aspects of this person that I like? What are the aspects that I don't like? You know, and thinking about how those things kind of make you feel. And then that will kind of help you figure out what it is that you actually want out of, like, this situation. I think that because I think you spend a lot of time, like, just, like, head in the clouds a little bit, and just maybe, like, sometimes, like, you dream about this, like, ideal person, and, like, you get upset about the fact that they haven't, like, shown up yet. But I don't think that you have the clarity that you think you do as it relates to kind of what's happening and, like, how these people, like, kind of interact, or not interact, but how these people, like, either fill or don't fill, like, those needs that you have. And that's the aspect of it I think that you need to get more in touch with, so that you can, you know, come and make a better decision and moving forward in the future. So yes, I think the best thing is that you need to focus on, the best thing for you to support yourself and care for yourself is focusing on the reality of what you're going through and how that reality makes you feel, because that's what's going to help you be able to get into alignment. And then when you're in alignment, I think everything else is going to kind of, like, come to a much better place, and you'll feel a lot less confused, and you'll feel a lot more secure in knowing how you want to move forward. So yeah, definitely just spending some time with yourself, I think, and spending some time, like, really analyzing your reality and figuring out, like, okay, like, this is what I like, this is what I don't, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. And then that's going to help you get to this place of clarity, which is then going to help you make a better decision overall. But again, remember that there are some things coming in this week, some new information that's going to come to light, and that could be just through your regular trying to reflect on the situation, and you'll get a better understanding of, like, things in your psyche that are in the shadows right now and in your subconscious, and, like, coming to the conscious place. But also it could be, like, some real world players coming in with some new information that could kind of shake up your world a little bit and cause you to question things. But just remember, like, it's all about, like, what you actually want and getting in alignment with that. So don't get too caught up in, you know, other people in the sense of, like, it being a distraction. Like, don't get distracted is kind of how I feel. Like, remember, like, eyes on the prize, and the prize is you figuring out what you actually want and you being fulfilled and not acting out of a place of selfishness and, you know, like, selfishness in the sense that you're not being fair to the other people involved. But you can be selfish in terms of wanting to go after what you want, you know. Just don't be stringing people along, you know. So we just really need to get clear, and once you have some clarity, it'll become a lot easier for you to make the right decisions and make the right moves as you kind of go forward. So but yeah, thank you so much, Pile 3, for joining me in this reading. If you like this reading, or if it did resonate, please like this video or leave me a comment, and maybe even subscribe to the channel if you would like to stay tuned for readings in the future. But thank you guys again so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next reading.